everybody, welcome back to my channel Learn with Virali. I'm Virali, your guide on this coding adventure. In episode 22 of Introduction to CSS, we'll understand how to use the float property in your HTML web pages. So let's get started. Alright, so I have the blueprint of the document ready here, understanding the float property in CSS for positioning our elements on the HTML web pages. So first, let us understand what is float or how does it help in styling our web pages. So the float property is used for positioning and formatting content onto our HTML web pages. That's where we can have, let's say, our image to be positioned on the left and the content to be positioned on the right, or a vice versa kind of a thing, wherein we can position the elements correctly and in a nice to see manner. So let us understand by taking a small example here using our VS Code editor. I have downloaded a file for the image of a pineapple, pineapple.png. So I would request to all the viewers to please download a sample image from Google before we get started here. So now the first thing that I wanted to do here is to give a heading, as in the float CSS property. Next, I'll be having my p tag ready, wherein I'll be writing a dummy lorem ipsum content. But first, I'm interested in displaying an image. So I'll be saying image with the source, giving the source as pineapple.jpg, which is the image that I have downloaded. And then I will try to style this having a small width and the height, which we will be doing it in the style tag in a while. But after that, let us have some dummy lorem ipsum content. So I'll just write lorem 80 to have more content. And now I'll just put it here so that we can see how much content do we have. All right, so our content is styled pretty much, and we are now ready with the content. So let us proceed further. Once we have finished writing the thing, we are now gonna go here to float CSS, which is the CSS file. And now I'll be giving the style to the img tag, wherein I'll be saying as width would be equal to, let's say, 50%. Next, we need to have float. So float would be, let us give the float as right. Float right. And then float right, and yeah, let us keep this much for now, save this, but you don't forget to include the link tag, as this is an external file which will be using it here, modifying the reference for the CSS file, which is float CSS in our case. So I'm gonna save this and let us have a look onto the preview here. Since we have given float as the right, so the image is going to be placed on the right. If we just modify the float value to left, the float value now is going to be having our image placed on the left, since we are saying it to be positioned on to the left. Now, if I say float as none, it simply means that we are not going to position or format the element based on the text. It can come in as and how it is arranged. So first we have the heading, which is float CSS property, then we have the image, and then we have the lorem ipsum content. So typically we always end up using float left or right depending on our requirements, but you also have something called as float as inherit. So the float equals to inherit allows us to inherit the properties which were defined for the parent element, but right now, since we don't have any parent element, nothing is going to happen. It is going to get the position of a none. So for now, let us keep it as left, as it makes it look more easy to look and nice to see manner, organized in a separate place. If this video was insightful, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it helps me to create more such insightful videos. Until then, happy coding.